Hello and welcome to the Brother Slim. This is Cam. I am trying something a little bit different today. Don't know how that sounded on the mic, but we'll keep it. So one of the coolest things about this game is the story, and there's a lot of it that is meant to be kind of gated, and depending on the lose condition, when it's very likely going to happen, you can then revisit some of the stories that you missed the first time. At least that's how I'm interpreting it. Myself and the rest of the Brother Slim have decided that we do not play enough to justify playing quite as intended, so we're not going to be going back and restarting a campaign when we do hit a lose condition. We got a decently set plan for when it happens, but in the meantime, don't want to miss out on those missed stories. So for example, opening up cycle 1 here. For us in story card 3, we are locked out of Fated Conundrum and Plight of the People, which I don't think we really got into at all. So I figured we can have a little story time and kind of go through it together. I don't know if, well, speaking frankly, if there's some cool things that come up in the story that would affect the campaign, like say a Titan or something like that, we'll probably add it to a sheet. Not going to get any of the Nemos node markers or anything for that. I think that would be game breaking. But if there's anything cool that we otherwise would have missed, we'll probably add it, and probably not going to add any resources or anything else. So there might be some effect on our game, but mostly just for the story, and if there's anything cool, heck yeah, we'll take it. So, let us see here. Fated Conundrum, und wer art thou? Page 31. This way, we can share along for a little story time, and see some of the cool art in the book too, because there is a lot of fantastic art. For example... Try and get that glare gone. And there we go there. And the cover art for Fated Conundrum. Indeed, and Fated Conundrum is one that we didn't do at all. So here we are with the little intro. Bitter Seeds. Your scouting mission led you deeper into the jagged coast, where supposedly a few villages found a way to avoid the primordial terror. Your search ends fruitlessly, but on your way back, you were stopped by a woman in a tattered robe. She's in her mid-20s, but the geometric patterns of her tattoo that covers her face make her look older and more sinister. "Have you heard the truth of the Labyrinth?" she asks melodically. Not quite how I read it, but that's okay. Minoan guides. We're just going to say that she's gone because we've abandoned her for a little while now. Then choose. You have heard whispers of this new faith. Oh, one little note too, if you're chiming in for where we're at in the story, part of the reason why these stories are gated is, at least I think, is these very first ones are very much like as you're starting your journey, and I'm sure things get a little bit more advanced as you go, but so for us, we're very well acquainted with the Labyrinthians at this point. So in our case, have we heard of it? Yes, we most certainly have. You're new to this island, and the Argos crew is still looking for its identity. This ground is fertile for indoctrination. Best leave her be. You ignore her and go on your way. So once again, not going to worry about diplomacy or fate there. Or number 2, Minos had the maze built. Now these people worship it. There's a clear connection. She may prove a useful resource of information if approached carefully. You try to obtain information from the woman. Well, let's go ahead and do that one. I think it makes the most sense. So C0013. She looks at you with this profound understanding in her bright eyes. You have. A flower can blossom even in a desert, can it not? And you will blossom. Ooh. You feel your wounds tingling as the geometric patterns extend ever so slightly. What have you done to me? You ask. Nothing was done, for there is no discernible will and no path to follow. It has just happened, and it will happen again and again. For the people's eyes have been opened, and they see the labyrinth for what it is. Ooh, interesting. Choose. This woman is too dangerous to be allowed to roam free. Banish her from the countryside before she spreads her corruption further. You banish her. Bad things would happen. Number 2, this woman is too dangerous to leave alone. She needs to be isolated so she can't spread her poisonous ideology any further. You need to interrogate her thoroughly, lest you risk entering a war unprepared. You imprison the prophet. Ooh, interesting. Choices. Either too dangerous to roam free. I feel like banishing her. Let's go ahead and... You know what? If it was early days, I think we probably would have gone with the banished option. So let's do that. 16. You tried... words. I'm a little tired today from a very early morning. And so reading comprehension, not tip-top shape, but that's okay. You try to convince the woman to leave, but she keeps prophesying to your crew. When you send someone to remove her forcefully, the woman falls to her knees. I thought I was chosen to spread the truth. Yet, oh, now I see the truth of truths. With these words, she dies. To your horror, the body unfolds like an exotic flower, and you finally realize those were not tattoos at all, but cuts deep as bone. What magic has held her fractured body whole has left her and taken root. Oh my goodness, that is terrifying. So that would have been a doom, some known diplomacy. Finally, at least I like the Argonaut gains the Haunted Nemos card. Whew, haunted on point. Creepy, creepy, creepy. Alrighty, Rue. Well, let's continue on with this story here. I think what I'm going to do is just mark... So usually I do checks. Let's just do little circle dots. Let's do the pilgrimage next. You notice a line of people slowly moving up the shore. None of them carry belongings as they make their way between the tall, angular pieces of the maze rising here and there. You've been looking for a cult ringleader who is using the Labyrinth's belief in the truth for his own gain. This could be it. You disguise yourselves as Labyrinthians and infiltrate the pilgrimage. People keep to themselves as they walk, lost in their own thoughts or muttering the same words over and over again. The looks on their faces are of abandoned hope and lost faith, and an eerie feeling of something deeper than sadness floats in the air. A woman smiles sadly at you and introduces herself as Tessa. Do you know where we are going? You ask. Up there on those cliffs, the breaker of bonds awaits us. She looks you up and down before asking, what cruel twist of fate brought you here to seek his wisdom? My village was destroyed, the party leader lies quickly. I lost everything. She nods solemnly. Yes, I did as well. My husband was taken to Elysium with the rest of my family. She smiles softly for the briefest of moments. Sometimes I can still picture their faces, how our lives used to be when we all had purpose. What was it like? Joyful and loud. There was never a dull moment with the Hornsworn. You hide your surprise. We used to dream of many things, but Theseus was not a dreamer. He was a man of action. I admired him. You wish to ask for more, but suddenly the line stops. A man at the front opens his arms wide. Brothers and sisters, we have finally reached the end of our journey. Rejoice, for today is the day you will embrace the truth. Whispers spread among the Labyrinthians like wildfire. Come and join the void, for nothing matters. He walks to the side and invites people to come closer, and then, as if it was just the most normal thing in the world, one after the other, they jump off the cliff to their deaths. Wow. No one cries, and the surf catches the sound with their bodies. As you emerge from the crowd, ready to seize him, he disappears among the Labyrinthians. Ooh, very interesting. Choose one. The information this cult ringleader possesses is too important and he needs to be stopped. You look for the ringleader in the crowd. 2. You will not stand idly by while these people jump to their deaths. Justice is good, but life is better. The former will have to wait. You stop the Labyrinthians from jumping. I think that would probably be the one. So let's see 0009. Also, just as an aside, look how much text there is. There's so much text. It's cray-cray. Actually, pick this up a little bit here so I can read a little clearer. Some of the Labyrinthians listen to you, whilst others look to the churning waters below with blissful obliviousness. The ringleader, if he was here, slips away. Later that night, as you set up a camp for the remaining Labyrinthians on the shore, you learn more about Theseus. I met him once, one of the older Labyrinthians says as he pokes the fire with a branch. How driven and hell-bent on destroying the Horn Guard he was. Funny how he ended up protecting the people. I suppose love really changes a man, right? As you are about to retire for the night, you notice a lone silhouette standing on the edge of the cliff. Tessa. You slowly turn toward her and gently invite her to grab your hand. I am sorry, Argonauts. I know you only want to help, she says before she lets herself fall. You catch her arm, and her body slams against the side of the cliff. She stays limp as you try to pull her up. Let me go, she whispers. It's okay. Whew. Okay, our doom is not that high. We'll just go with that. So let's go with 10. Ignoring her wishes, you pull Tessa up. She doesn't look at you when she disappears into the woods with the other labyrinthians, though you think you see something akin to relief on her face. Maybe she just needed someone, anyone, to care about her. You never learn what happened to her afterwards, but you hope she finds the courage to live on. Whew. Dark, 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 but a little bit of hope. That's pretty cool. Dreams of the Mom. Or dream singular of the Mom. One night, you all dream the same dream. A winding path takes you deep into the woods. The trees are packed close together, and you suddenly realize they form high, thick walls. You feel lost and trapped. Your worst memories of helplessness resurface, and you question the point of it all. Labyrinthians, diplomacy, progress, roll on the following table, courage or will. We don't know who the old spinner is. We do not have them. And we don't have watched either. Okay, well, I only grabbed just my personal character sheet, so Penelope here, but let's just go ahead and do, I guess, 4 rolls. Either courage or will. Let's just go back and forth there. All right, it doesn't matter. It's all +1. So, first one. It's going to be 10. Cool. Let's see what we get there. So, 11. Nope, that's just a 10. You felt the presence of the maw. One moment. Let's see. Okay, so we're in the dream. Rolls on the following table. Okay, so you felt the presence of the maw and so take a different path altogether. Now there are roots nibbling at the maze's foundation. You hear a cracking sound. You look around and notice a gargantuan shape rising above the labyrinth. It's hunting for you, but it won't find you, at least for now. You may reset some stuff, that's cool, and potentially lose mage touch, that's pretty awesome. So my guess is this is like a dream of Temenos the Great and Powerful. Alright, next roll. 7. You're quick and nimble and climb up faster than the slope can turn. You duck into a side corridor and run. The ground seems to move under you in the opposite direction. Panicked, you take another turn, but it happens to be a dead end. The wall opposite has been painted with a maze pattern. Suddenly, an eye opens in the center of the composition and you wake up. Despair, maze touched, fun stuff. Next one. Ooh, that's going to be 2. You start walking faster, but the ground seems to move and you lose your footing. You tumble down, now it seems a sloping track. Before you, a pitch black spot. No, it's completely black. There are rectangular objects moving inside, like teeth. You fall down this churning maw, nothingness engulfs you. You wake up, but feel like a part of you died there. Dark. Very dark. Alright, then the last one. 6. 6 we rolled already. Very, very cool. Okay, that's cool. So we don't have the Minoan guide anymore, so we're not going to bother with that. So back to the voyage phase. And stewards we shall read. One morning, you spot a trio of triremes, sailing your way. Once the ships were draped with flowers and fine fabrics of ochre and deep blue sea, or deep sea blue, but the colors have all but faded and the plants all but withered. They sail under the banner of Minos and the Horn Guard. Choose one, or choose a party leader. Okay, so we don't have Minoan Guide with us anymore. So option 1, they sail in a tight formation with considerable speed. This is an attack, not a peaceful visit. Dead gods know how many warriors hide below deck. This could get bloody. You won't take any chances. Prepare a tight and welcome party and do not let them get close. 2, they sail in a tight formation with considerable speed. They may be fleeing from something. Maybe the same creature that attacked the massive fleet west of Crete. And they do not represent... Ooh, and they do represent your would-be allies. Let them catch up. You know what? I think it's going to be prepare a tight and welcome party. You scramble to battle positions while the Argo starts its cumbersome turn. Some of you rush to the Belenion to awaken the Titans. As the triremes close in, you notice they are manned by ragtag crews, not Minoan sailors. Okay, decide which two of the Argonauts will rush to the Belenion. They junction with their Titans and return with an armful of petrified trees, deadly spears to be handed in the hands of 30-foot giants. Okay, so each of them tests Fury, 6+. Let's do 2 Fury tests, once again, just as Penelope here. Nice, that is a success for sure. Okay. So Fury got a +2 there, so that is a success and probably a fail. Yep, and a fail. Oh, each of them tests Fury twice, so that is a success and a fail. And then next one, fail and success with just barely a 6. So 2+ triremes are destroyed, so what's left turns and flees. All right, and that appears to be it. Interesting. They sink and gain staff, and yeah, that looks like it's it. Maze fragment indeed. Yeah, I don't see continue on to any other things, so I guess back to the voyage we go. Well, back to the voyage, back to the story in this case. The feast. Following the lead, you arrive at a small village, or rather, what's left of it. Walking among the pulverized houses, you wonder what transpired here, though judging by the giant handprints left on the ground, you have a pretty good idea. Near one of the collapsed buildings, you find the remains of a small, hastily erected shrine to the Labyrinth. It's also been destroyed. Interesting. Well, I do believe I am going to take this symbol because... Centimanes, oh, Centimanes. Okay, so 0. Curious, do we have any of those other ones? So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Or 1, 2. Do we know any of those? No, we do not. These people had no way to defend themselves. They paid their teeth to the Minoan dynasty, and the Horn Guard didn't protect them. They built a shrine to appease the maze, and what good did it do? And the supposedly noble Hordsworn were nowhere to be seen. Okay, each Argonaut tests Wisdom or Cunning. Alright, so we're just going to have a +1. And so this is success-based, so we want as many as possible. 8, that will be a success. Just barely, though. That will be 7, which is no dealio. Second success. Second fail. Alright, so we get 2 successes. It takes you a second to realize the mush is the bodies, ground to a pulp between giant fingers of the foe? How do you... Foe. English. Of the foe mouth of the primordial you came to call the Hecaton. It ate the villagers, or at least tried to. An irrational anger fills you. Cool. Regardless of the results, Yeah, interesting. Very, very interesting. On to the mazed tree. Even people from nearby villages come to the maze tree. Its branches, long and cuboid, bend under the right angles and bloom into cubic patches of rectangular leaves. Some see it as a bad omen, while others bring wreaths and small gifts to appease the labyrinth. Cool. Choose 1. If it's a blight on the land and the souls of all, it is a blight on the land and the souls of all who look upon it. The faith of the maze spreads like a disease, and diseases need to be burnt out. Burn the tree. Okay. Interesting. So stuff happens there. Or 2, the tree may not be allowed to exist, but the maze pattern starts somewhere. Maybe if you can trace it, understand it, you'll have a better chance of fighting it. You uproot it. 3. Leave it be. It's not your place to decide. Besides, you may do more harm than good. You don't know how far the rot has spread. Let's try and yank this tree. That sounds like fun. And ancient shell resource sounds sweet too. I don't know if we're going to gain that resource. Let's see if there's anything. Let's say that we'll gain it if there's not something better that happens afterwards. I think that's fair. Ancient shell. Okay, we've got 1 already, so I'm just not gonna bother marking anything down. I think that makes the most sense. Mazed tree, 28. Okay. You break up the crowd and start digging. The branches of the tree crack ominously. Ooh. Alrighty, each Argonaut tests Fury. Cool, let's see. So we want as many successes as possibly. And Fury, we have +2. That's nice. Okay, so first one. Gonna be 5. What are we looking for? 7+. So that's a fail. Success. Fail. And fail. That means we only get 1. 0 to 2. When you uproot the tree, you hear a deafening horn and a giant... Oh, yes, there's a bunch of bad stuff there. Deafening horn and a giant stone pillar rises from the ground. It writhes like a snake, but its movements are stilted and mechanical. A roar from afar answers it. Add the Hecatrap. Ooh, we've had that card once. It's my least favorite card in the game so far. The Hecaton is already here. Lose a hull and go straight to the ambush battle. Nasty. Nasty. Well, lucky for us, we're not going to do anything. You know what? That was so bad. I think I'm not going to give us the the resource from exploring that. Okay, maze tree. You nasty. I see you. Okay, then a city made of riddles. Let's just mark it off. And this is the capstone of this. You heard whispers of it, but you thought it was just a fever dream of the truth of the Labyrinth neophytes. A city made of maze, or maybe a city made maze by the worship of its people. The conundrumed polis, where the tenets of the faith were made manifest. Yet now your spies report such a city exists, not far from your current location. They try to describe its serpentine streets and impossible towers, but ultimately fail, as if the very image has slipped from their mind. There may be answers here, says the old priest, cautiously, but also dangerous questions you do not want to ask. I sense a presence there, an ever-watchful bottomless pit. Be vigilant, be unseen, and be quick. You depart the Argo under the cover of night and join your scouts on the island. They lay out your options. The quickest way inside the city is with the stream of pilgrims, while the safest may be through the recently discovered Daedalian sewers. Ooh, sewers! Choose 1. You need to be in and out before the cult is alerted to your presence. You blend in with the pilgrims. Or 2. They may be looking for you. Better to avoid contact altogether. You venture into the sewers. Oh man, I think it's got to be the sewers. That's nasty. Alright, 20. You travel by night and rest by day, avoiding roads, settlements, and any other signs of civilization. As you journey through the wilds of Crete, you begin to notice subtle changes in the landscape, like the oddly symmetrical venation of leaves, recurring patterns of terrain features, or animal behavior. Ooh, the animal behavior would be creepy. Something is not right here. I love how this matches perfectly, kind of like well, I guess this is an island somewhere, but the interior of Crete is creepy as heck, and it's the perfect kind of combination to that. On the third day, on the outskirts of the Conundrum Polis, you come across a ruined village. Is this the handiwork of the Labyrinthians? No, this settlement was raised a long time ago, allowing nature to reclaim what was taken from her. Among the rubble, you find a stone tablet that reads, "On the order of King Minos, all those who sympathize with the criminal with the criminal Theseus are to be put to death." That same day, you crest a hill and finally see the view that your spies failed to describe. A polis sprawling on a gentle slope, a tangle of crisscrossing streets. You could almost make out some sort of pattern, only for it to fall apart into the chaos again. The crooked towers dotting the city clutch at the sky like the fingers of some sort of gargantuan stature. Oh my goodness, statue. You circle the city looking for an entrance to the sewers. These were purportedly created by Daedalus himself, though you've been hard-pressed to find anyone who could attest to such lofty pedigree. You break out the torches and enter. If F2 is marked, the memory of that disastrous night still lingers among your crew. Do we have F2 marked? F3, but not F2. Wonder what that disastrous night could have been. At one time, the stone sewers must have been a haven for the unfortunate, but now an eerie sense of dread permeates them and you find yourself struggling to push forward. The murky, muddy waters hinder your progress. The stench is unbearable, and you must stop countless times as your crew members retch. Why did you think it was a good idea to come here? Why did you even come? This all seems so pointless now. Each Argonaut tests will or endurance. We don't have the old spinner. Hornsworn, friendly or better. What are we at with Hornsworn? Oh, we are friendly. That's nice. So we can add +2. That is nice. Okay. And we don't have F5, I don't think. Let me just double check though. F5, no. Will or endurance. All right, so we can add 1 to this. We'll do it 4 times once again. So 5, that's not going to be enough. Yay! So that's 1 out of 6 is not going to be enough. So we have 2 successes. Though the crippling fears grip the heart of... Oh my goodness. Though the crippling fears that grip your heart are many, you press on. A spell has been put on this place, but it is no hold over you. Cool. And see 41. Quick look at not a terrible, awful maze, but just once again, cool art. 41. You realize the sewers ended a while ago. The structure is far more massive and complex, somehow incredibly old and brand new at the same time. This is a labyrinth outcrop right beneath the city. You start making your path. When you stop to observe the walls, the ongoing changes are noticeable to the naked eye. The maze is constantly rebuilding itself, expanding. Creepy. Before you can ponder the implications, you hear a cry for help coming from down the corridor. You rush forward with your weapons drawn. You find a naked, middle-aged man curled up on the floor, crying, begging for it all to be over. His hands are bloodied from self-inflicted wounds. You calm him down, give him something to eat and drink, and cover him with a robe for warmth. The throng is in here, because we renounced their false god. What god? The labyrinth, I think, or the truth of it, I do not understand. When they cast me down here, I was expecting the Minotaur Reborn, or wild animals, or spectators, looking down, taking pleasure in my suffering. But there's nothing here. Nothing. I've been eating the fungus growing on the walls, drinking water dripping from the ceiling. I don't know how long I've been here. I do not remember who I was before. Oh my goodness. Choose one. This man has suffered enough, and you've learned all there is to learn here. Better not dally in the maze, you lead the man out. 2. There may be others like him. You would not wish this fate upon anyone. You will save as many as you can. Look for others. I think that's going to be it. 23. Worst comes to worst, we can eat some maze fungus too. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. There are indeed others here, dozens of them, sometimes separated by a wall as thin as a cloth you'd hang in a door. Ugh. Yet they are all alone, unable to find one another. The anxiety in their watery eyes makes you queasy as your own fears start bubbling to the surface. You finally order withdrawal. There are many. There may still be more, but you have no means of helping them now. You head back, trying to follow their markings, but they have all but disappeared. Uh-oh. Each Argonaut tests will or endurance, and 9+. Okay, yeah, this is going to be tough. Will or endurance, 9+. And so, will we have 1? So we need 8. It's 1 fail, 1 success. Oh no, 2 fails, 3 fails. Oh, yes. 1 success out of 4. Okay, 0 to 2 successes. You search for the exit, but it's not where it was supposed to be. Hours go by. People are losing faith in you, doubting they will ever get out and see their comrades and loved ones. The maze changes around you. You suddenly realize there are fewer of you. People are getting lost. You start to panic. It's all failing, and it's all because of you. You had to go deeper, didn't you? Try to be a hero, to mean something. Well, you are meaningless, and no one is coming for you. You emerge from the maze in the early hours of the morning. The sun is still hiding behind the horizon. You feel as if a giant weight has been lifted from your heart. You are finally able to breathe freely. You are safe, for now. You look around and notice your party is smaller than when you went in. Even considering the few prisoners who stayed with you, this is not a victory. Oh yeah, that would have been bad. So lose a crew, gain danger, gain progress, gain an inward odyssey, remove 2 random trauma cards from the major. Interesting. Add a recovery event to the timeline. When it triggers, you may return the removed trauma cards. Okay, so we're not going to bother with that. Labyrinthine diplomacy -1. Ouchie kills. Yeah, that would have sucked. Regardless of the results, when you emerge from the forlorn maze, there is one more with you. Ooh. A towering colossus, slender from hunger, bruised and battered from the sharp edges of the ever-growing labyrinth, hunched and crawling from constant dread, yet still dwarfing your company with its sheer size and radiating power. A titan. It survived the labyrinth and found a way out. It deserves a hero's welcome. Oh, not just any titan. Oh, no way. Gain a Maze Runner Titan. Return to the voyage phase. Well, that, considering we're on, I think, year or day 40, 41, 42, something like that, and we're only having Dreamwalkers, you better bet your bottom dollar we're going to add a Maze Walker. How very cool. So there are ways to get those Titans. That's super neat. Okay, well, onwards to the next little story here. Plight of the People. We have done a few of these. There's some of that stellar art once more. Okay, well, let's do... We're just going to go top to bottom for the ones that haven't been done yet. Nice and easy that way. And if you want to catch the ones that are already done, they're scattered throughout our live play of the campaign. Which, to be fair, is a lot of long videos. But yeah, not going to retread what we've already done. So, Witness of Minos. You've learned of a man who claims to have seen Minos. He's holed up in the Port Tavern. This may be a tall tale, one spun to grift the patrons, but he does have a few crucial details right. Details that have not been shared with Crete's people. You pay the tavern a visit. The man is there, as your informer claimed he would be, telling another tale of the flight of Minos. When pressed for details, he suddenly becomes cagey. If the Minoan guide is with you, she will abide by your choice, but she wants to be present by any interrogation. If you do not want her, the Minoan diplomacy -1. Definitely would. Akakalis, the smoker, was a dear friend while we still had her. Okay, so choose. 1, this man is clearly hiding something, and he just realized he has said too much. If you don't act quickly, he may disappear into the fold, or worse, be made to disappear. You need to learn the truth, no matter the cost. This man is clearly scared. A softer touch might do wonders. Approach him as a gentle parent, a benevolent protector, and he may reward you with far more detailed account than you'd extort. You know what? I kind of think number 1. Let's go to 11. Yeah, I feel like this is some important info, and we want to make sure we get it. 0011. You wait for the man behind the tavern, cloaked in shadows, like thugs or killers. Yet you notice others who would also want to chat with a talkative drunkard. Your presence dissuades them, and they back off, like a lesser predator conceding to a greater one. Finally, the man emerges. You grab him off the streets and under the cover of night transport to the Argo. The man will eventually talk, like all men do. The question is the length of the road it takes you there. Alrighty, leader tests Fury. So Fury's +2. We do need a good roll. A critical fail is not a good roll. So fail, that would have been a Fated Nemos card. Okay. The picture the man paints of Minos is an unflattering one. A graybeard at the end of his sanity, mumbling with the labyrinth and the sins, mumbling about the labyrinth and the sins of the past. Regardless of the results, gain a progress and some diplomacy, and could have gained some resources and doom for having the Minoan guy Akakalis there. She was not, though. Alrighty, next up is Cult of the Bull. You reach a small island where the Minotaur is still revered. The villagers are happy to trade supplies and gossip for even the smallest relic of the old cultures. Lose 4 trireme resources and gain a progress. If you don't have enough triremes, gain a doom instead. Alrighty, unfriendly or worse. What is our diplomacy with them? Minoans or Hornsworn? Yes, Minoans are unfriendly. And refuse to trade, so that began a fate. We don't have her with us. We don't have the old spinner either. Interesting. So I'm really curious who and where this old spinner is found, because they seem to have a lot of really positive benefits. When you're about to leave, a small regiment of soldiers in horned helmets arrives at the village. They claim the Minotaurites are harboring a labyrinthian refugee. If the Minotaurites don't give them up, there will be consequences. The Minotaurites turn to you for protection. Choose one. You don't respond well to threats, and these people have suffered enough. You protect the villagers. 2, this is not your fight, nor will you shed blood for a labyrinthian. You stand aside. I think that's got to be number 1. 0003. Let's step in and help. Stand down, Argonaut, shouts one of the guardsmen, brandishing his Zephos. Or what? You retort, crossing your arms. A giant titan shadow looms over the soldiers, and they quickly realize you came prepared. So some diplomacy. Don't need to worry about the fate. Maybe I spoke too hastily, stammers the soldiers' leader. Maybe you did. You did not want to start a war, so you allow the soldiers to retreat. However, this does not solve the problem. They will be back. There is no safe place for citizens of a state which treats them like enemies. On the Argo, however, you can recruit them. So that'd be plus crew and gain a stranger. And return to story time. Beachhead. Okay. You come upon a well-fortified village. A tall palisade has been erected from Kermes oak and the same giant petrified trees your titans use for weapons. A trio of representatives meets you outside a reinforced gate. They don't want any trouble, and they won't cause you any. They just want to be left alone. You try to bargain with them. Each Argonaut tests cunning or wisdom. Okay, let's do it. Either is going to be +1. So first one, fail. And what was the result we're looking for? 7+. Oh my goodness, fail. Success. And lastly, fail. So we only get 1. We've had really bad luck with these tests. All right, so 1 success. The people of the village have suffered much at the hands of Minos' tyranny. Though the lawless years following the Civil War haven't been much kinder, you have no friends here. Alas. And I think that's just it. Yeah, we don't get to go in or anything. Yeah. On to Minotaurites, the next story. The crew's tired. You can feel the tension in the air. You decide to drop anchor at a small town that seems peaceful enough. As you settle down for the night, your scouts come back. The good news, the Labyrinth hasn't reached this part of Crete yet. The bad news, some strange activities are happening in town. A group of people adorned in bull masks, who call themselves the Minotaurites, are hunting the peaceful Labyrinthians living in an enclave on the outskirts of town. These vigilantes are well armed and organized, yet they underestimate the size and drive of the cultists. Your scouts report the enclave to be a promising place to find clues about Minos, since the Labyrinthian leader, a man with an impressive geometric tattoo on his bald head, has apparently recently seen the fallen king. He would be willing to meet you, but they also tell you that these bull fanatics have gathered a small group of Labyrinthians on the main square to be lynched in front of a large crowd. Things could get messy with this many witnesses. Your scouts also find the Minotaurites' hideout, a megalithic cave, possibly a Centimani site. There may be some clues or supplies there. Oh, Centimani's. Very, very interesting. So it's either people or old giant lore is my guess. So choose one. This lead with the Labyrinthian leader seems really promising. It's not every day someone claims to have spoken to King Minos. The sooner you find the fallen monarch, the sooner the chaos will end. You go to the Enclave. 2, your scouts' reports are chilling. These Minotaurites are ready to do anything for Ithril. They will surely slaughter the Labyrinthians, yet they defend the town when a mob of mace touch. Yet will they defend the town when a mob of mace touch descends on it? You stop the lynching. Or 3, all the Minotaurites are either at the Enclave or in the main square. This is the perfect opportunity to visit their hideout and see who they really are. You go to the hideout. Oh, tough choice. Do we go talk to the cult leader, stop a lynching of cultists, or sneak in to see who these Minotaurites are? I kind of think, in channeling Sean on this one, it's going to be stop a lynching and save those people. Oh, yeah, really tough choice, though. All those are really, really compelling. 28. The closer to the main square you get, the more people you see. Screams erupt as torchlight flickers on thatched roofs. Disaster is in the air. Halfway there, you encounter a group of men and women running the other way. Their helmets are adorned with broken horns. The Hornsworn. They have captured a man with an intricate geometric tattoo on his bald head. Choose one. Screams continue to rip through the night. You can't just idly stand by as innocents are being slaughtered. This isn't the time to turn a blind eye. You go to the main square and save the Labyrinthians. 2, you have no idea how the Labyrinthian leader ended up here, but fate seems to have given you another chance to get that information. That is, if you face the Hornsworn first. You follow the Hornsworn. Oh, interesting. Very, very interesting. Do we save the people, or do we now go for the leader? Well, said I was channeling the inner Sean. Let's go with saving these people. 32. As the crowd cheers in the main square and the Minotaurites bring the first Labyrinthians to their knees, you jump into action. Each Argonaut tests fury or cunning. Not doing the spending any sort of stats to modify it, even though that would make it much more possible. 9+. Endurance or cunning, I think, is it fury. So just going to be adding 1 to these. Nope. Nope, that's 2 fails. 3 fails. 4 fails. Alright, so fail. The Minotaurites were waiting for you. You barely make it out alive. Into danger. Regardless of the outcome, the Minotaurites make a hasty retreat. You note their strange and brutal but effective way of fighting, and their weapons, charred or dripping in black ambrosia. These were not Hornguard, or the Hornsworn. Very interesting. Minotaurites, who the heck are you? Dripping in black ambrosia. I almost want to guess it's something to do with Cycle 2, because that's a bigger piece there. Sowing and reaping. Alrighty. Put a little dot. Sowing and reaping. Okay, this looks like a good one, or a long one. Even from a distance, it's hard not to notice the megalithic wall rising high above the houses of stone and clay. For a moment, you take it for a shard of the labyrinth, but no, it's grayer, cruder, and somehow more ancient. It's also covered in grooves and overgrown with plants. That is where you are to meet your Minoan contact. You walk into town. Some of the buildings have been demolished, an earthquake perhaps, but most of the structures still stand. The smell of freshly baked bread leads you to a shaded market plaza. You see people lining up near a large court, where a squad of Hornguard are rationing food. The portions seem generous. Life goes on seemingly uninterrupted, though there is a certain fragility to it all. As an aside, my wife's gotten into baking bread lately, and it smells so good when it's fresh. Further down the road, a man standing on a barrel draws your attention, half naked in a tattered robe and covered in geometric pattern tattoos. You know the type. He preaches the truth of the labyrinth with an intensity of the newly converted. You think us the enemy? We are nothing of the sort. We are the children thrown at the Minotaur's mercy by a cruel king. We are the farmers denied the crops of our fields so the court can feast. We are the invalid, former soldiers of the Hornguard, discarded as soon as our usefulness has ceased. We are you. We know of your suffering. We know of your suffering. And we are here to tell you that you are suffering for naught. There is no meaning to it, no meaning to any of it. The sooner you accept it, the sooner your suffering can end. You notice the sermon falls on fertile ground and many of the passersby slow down or stop to listen. You've heard this truth before, and you know where it leads. Choose. 1. Though there is probably more truth to what the man says than any would like to admit, this is not the time to air your grievances. The labyrinth is not a movement for change. It's a nihilistic monster that needs to be stopped. You stop the labyrinthian from spouting lies. 2. Fair enough. If those in power had listened, Crete would not find itself in the situation it is. Trying to silence dissents didn't work then. What makes you think it would work now? You allow him to say his piece. You know what? I think fair enough. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with that. Let's go to 0004. You let the man speak. If you shut the mouth of everyone you disagree with, you will soon run out of people willing to talk to you. And only by talking can you untangle the mystery of Crete. The Labyrinthian continues his impassioned sermons. He talks of the maze and its transformative powers and the futile struggle against the dread of life. The great maw of his story, representing nothingness, seems so real you shiver. That's because we've dreamt of it before, and we've also fought it before. Tabana! When he retires for the evening, many onlookers leave with him. Gain a progress, gain a doom. We're not going to do that. Oh, success. What's this? Each Argonaut tests courage, 5+. Radiant courage. We have a +1. So we need 4s on the dice. That's 1 success. 1 fail. 2 fails. 2 success. Okay. I guess I didn't need to do those tests because there wasn't any actual outcome based on those. C10. You ask someone about the megalithic wall. That's the Hornguard's keep, says a middle-aged woman, by the looks of her, a former priestess. Some think it was erected by one of Daedalus's Wheel Machina, but it was here long before that, a Centimanes mound that... Centimanes? Oh, Centimanes. She points to a founding stone of a nearby building, and you notice it's much older than the rest of the structure. This town must have been built on the ruins of an older settlement. You discern a weathered symbol. 3. I think we have 3 already. Let's take a look. Oh, I don't think we do, but I do believe 3 is one of the ones that we saw in the last one. So let's get 3 noted. And is there anything that we can discern from this one? So there's a 3. Oh, there's 2. The 0, 3. 03. Oh my goodness. 037, I think. That's pretty bonkers. And then we just don't know what that last one is. Oh dang, that's crazy. We almost solved one. The giants who raised Crete out of the sea? The giants who raised Crete out of the sea, and for their insolence, Zeus made them extinct. You've heard the legend, surely. You have not. Do you know what that means? You point to the symbol. This was the third something. This woman knows a lot about this place. I'm just a discarded toy looking for a new home. That's cool. You can gain Fate, Stranger, Progress, and a Priest of Zeus, which is pretty cool. We're not going to gain it because we're not actually here. This is just a little fun story time. When the sun goes down, the mood shifts. The townspeople hurriedly retreat to their houses. We hear the sound of doors closing, of things being moved around. You ask the priestess about that. They fear the many-headed monster. They think the roofs will make them safe. They won't. You believe it will come? It came twice before. Maybe it's developed an appetite. You walk up the sloping streets to the keep. Up close, you notice the cracks and irregularities of the giant stone blocks. A tall stone slab lowered on a rope serves as the gate. The horn guards stand watch. Okay, so we are not friendly with the Minoans anymore. They are going to either 1, sneak in, or 2, negotiate passage. I think let's go ahead and do the negotiation one. Doesn't really matter for us as far as the outcomes. Beyond the megalithic walls, a small district of villas, gardens, and old temples squats atop a flat hill. You are greeted by your informant, Plikos, a rather corpulent man with a sly grin and cunning eyes. He leads you into one of the gardens where a feast is taking place. People laugh and sing along and drink wine. Secret tunnel. That's what I imagine they're singing. We shall receive you like heroes, my good Argonauts, and help you in any way we can. You look around, impressed yet unsettled by the contrast with the town outside the walls. This keep could accommodate far more people. Choose one. Squalor and splendor living side by side. You've seen this too many times to ignore. Things need to change around here. You challenge the status quo. 2. If this was the Argo, this food would be equally distributed among all, but it's not. You're guests here, and you're on a mission. You diplomatically play along. Well, you know what? They don't like us, and I think they don't like us for a reason. Let's challenge the status quo. Going to 0005. People outside live in constant fear of the primordials. Yet you sit here comfortably, safe behind walls you didn't even build. Plikos looks at you with disdain. What do you suggest we do? Let everyone in? You smirk. A mind reader. I'm impressed. And I am not. You were announced as a friend of Crete, yet you seem anything but. You don't seem a friend of Crete yourself, Plikos. Oh, sick burn! You let people suffer while you can keep them safe. The corpulent noble scowls at you angrily. We provide them with ample food and water, and the oversight of Minos. You think these walls keep us safe? They're a crumbling ruin. Yet you feel safe. Perhaps Plikos has said too much. The Centimanes mound might not withstand a hecaton attack. The real barrier lives outside. Interesting. C20. Once again, not going to bother marking it because this is not a story that we've actually done. 0020. You hear a thunderous roar, then a rising rumbling as if someone is impatiently tapping their fingers. The earth shakes. Oh god, I love that. That's terrifying. The monster comes! Squeaks Plikos. Move the guards inside. Close the gate. We will sit this out. You, on the other hand, cannot sit idly by. You think of the people outside the thick walls. Then about those gathered here. You think of the Argo anchored many miles off the coast, and the backup that may come too late. Finally, you give your crew order to move out. You order the guards to keep the gate open, but as soon as you leave, it shuts. So much for hospitality. It's still dark outside, but sunrise isn't far away. In the bleak light, you see the silhouette of the massive many-handed hecaton careening down the mountain. He'll be tapping his fingers as he comes. Choose one. The keep is the best defensible position. You should concentrate your efforts here to minimize casualties among your crew. 2, the townspeople will be hit the hardest. They cannot hide and they cannot run. You will engage the hecaton among the houses to draw its attention. You know what? I kind of think that's we're feeling bold, Cotton. We're feeling bold. 15. The hecaton comes crashing down, and you take the brunt of the charge. You couldn't stop the creature, even if you had 100 warriors with you. You only have 20. You can only slow it down. Endurance or Fury, 9+. Apply the Hornsworn Diplomacy bonus, if any. Hornsworn Diplomacy bonus. We do have +1. That's nice. So, in this case, Endurance or Fury. So we get to add 3 to this. We need 6s on the dice. 1 success. Fail. Success. Success. I think that was 4. Yeah, I think so. Regardless, it was a bunch of successes. 3. You put up a remarkable defense. You dash around buildings, attack from archways, leap from rooftops. If only you had some mobility gear to maneuver on elevated buildings, this could have been won. When support from the Argo arrives, you turn the tide with minimal losses. Lose Titan. Regardless of the results, if not gonna worry about that. On your way back to the ship, you were stopped by a woman in a hooded robe. You were a friend of the people, as Theseus once was, she says melodically, and so you have a friend in those who tend to his legacy. Seek out the sign of the thread. Add the Theseus's Catch exploration card to the exploration deck, then return to the voyage phase. So, sign of the thread, I bet that relates to something that we heard in a more recent story in which there is a thread that you could attach to yourself and it would keep you from getting lost in the labyrinth. Something like that. And that was Reaping and Sowing. So that was the end of that one. Well, currently, as far as the next story goes, Plight of the People, we have completed already. And we're going to be good for the foreseeable future here. So I don't know when the next story time video will come out. It'll probably be a while, depending on how far along or how fast we progress through the story. We are on story card 3, and I don't know how long story card 4 will take or how long it'll take to get there. But yeah, thank you very much for joining me on this Truth of the Labyrinth Cycle 1 story time. Hope everyone is safe, be well, and we'll see you next time on the Brother Slim. Bye!